With Doctor Who now entering its next era with its next Doctor and another Sonic, I think it was time to rank all of the 15 Sonic screwdrivers and then also talk about some honorable mentions that you might not even know about. So let's get into it. I'm going to be going from the bottom up. So starting with my least favourite options is Romana's. Now the problem with Romana's is I feel like it's too long and thin. Now yes, weird to say, I know, but the problem is a good Sonic screwdriver, again this sounds a bit odd, but it's something you can grip, like how Capaldi always grips it hard. 11 can throw his and catch it. But Romana's you couldn't really do that with. It was something more to hold into your fingers rather than hold with your hands. Great for precision, but not great to really hold and use against the Daleks or scan your surrounding areas. So for me, this is probably why this design is as low down as it is. But there is one good thing I like, which is the colour scheme, and it's interesting because this is a very similar colour scheme to one of the versions that the 15th Doctor has. And I say one because there are rumours that the 15th Doctor has a different version, such as a black and silver one instead. Anyway, up from Romana's is 15's. Now, this could climb the list very, very quickly, and you'll see why later on, because I really didn't like the 14th Doctor screwdriver when it was first announced, and then as I got the prop of it to hold as a toy, and then as we saw it on screen, I did actually really like it, and you'll see why, because it's so much higher up on this list. So 15's, I'm not jumping on the hate bandwagon just because it's cool. I genuinely don't like it at the moment, but after seeing it in some more use and seeing how he holds it in this kind of position instead, which does look really cool, I can definitely see this becoming one of my more liked screwdrivers, but for now it's at this point of the list. I'm pretty low down. Next is the third Doctor's Sonic screwdriver. Nothing particularly against this one, it's just the fact that from here on up all the others on the list I prefer. I'm not overly keen on the yellow stripes, but I do like the pull down function, and I think if this Sonic was to be modernised with a more metallic finish and a light and something more glowy or glass in the middle instead of the cluttered plastically stripes, then this could be a great design for a future Doctor, and one I would honestly love. So I love the features, I love the pull down feature, and I do like the stripes. I just think it's not as good as what it could be if it was done today, and then obviously not as good as against the future counterparts. That said, this is a really great Sonic and one that I do have as a prop, and it is one of my little favourites, but favourites and best can be different things, and I definitely do prefer the others on this list. So anyway, next up is the 4th and 5th Doctor's Sonic screwdriver. Now I know there are some slight altercations between the two, but if we were going under every single little change, we would be here all day long. So these two are getting grouped together. Again, this is here for the same reason as Thirds. I prefer it because it doesn't have the coloured stripes, and I prefer the features of this one as well. It looks more sleek, it looks more, well, just that really. It looks more like your basic Sonic screwdriver, whereas I'd say the 9th and 10th Doctors is your standard model for a modern Who screwdriver. This is your standard model for your classic Who screwdriver. It's great on screen, it's great now. If you brought this back without making any altercations, it would fit in a modern setting, even without a light. This Sonic screwdriver is basically timeless. It works with any Doctor, and that's why I love it. Lacks detail, is sleek, and that's why it's so good. Any more detail on this, then it probably would have been under the list, like with the 3rd Doctor's, because it tried to do too much, but they dropped that and then lost the detail, and it became the timeless classic, which is why this is higher up. But the one above this I do prefer. Now this is the 6th Doctor screwdriver. While I wouldn't want to have another or future Doctor have a Sonic like this, I do think it really stands out as something original. And to me, the colours, the fact it has a light on which the others are lacking, this just gets up higher in the list for me. Now, again, I'm a sucker for the colour red, and as you can tell, the colour scheme for the channel is red and blue. But that's not even why I like this Sonic. It's just original, and it just stands out to me. And for that reason, it just gets that little bit higher up on the list. Above 6s though, we go back to the sleeker design of 4 and 5s in the form of 7 and 8s. An updated version, obviously as time progresses and budgets increase. It's basically just the same thing, but even more updated. So everything I said for the 4th and 5th Doctor screwdrivers stands for 7s and 8s. Now, this also then means, for the next one, that I prefer the War Doctors than above all of these, because it does what my other two classic favourite ones have done. It is simple, it is sleek, and it is timeless, but now it has the added addition of the light on top, making it even better and even more perfect. And I just love this one so much. I said before, the other classic designs were timeless and could work for any Doctor. This does that and adds the light, which is why this gets the spot where it gets. Above this one is something which actually isn't a Doctor's, and is the Masters laser screwdriver. A fantastic design. I love how it almost reverses what the 10th Doctor Sonic does. Rather than being slim and kind of sleek, it's more big, it's bulky, it's got the big kind of tube lighting. Obviously it's a yellow colour instead, but it still has that kind of corally cracked effect. And obviously on the twisting part of the Sonic 2, this design is great. Even taking out the fact it can shoot literal lasers and is isomorphic, this Sonic just looks fantastic. The golden designs complement the grey and the silver, and the yellow lighting too. Seriously, if this was a Doctor's screwdriver, it would work perfectly. So on a design level, I love this one so much, and it's definitely one of my favourites, but not as good as the Dark Eye screwdriver. See, for me, the Dark Eye screwdriver does exactly what the Masters one does, but even more. Maybe it's because it's the Doctor's, I don't know, but it seems even more original. It has that added flair of originality. The crystal light, the more kind of robo-funked, original DIY appeal and look to it, it's really great. It has all these little intricate designs and just extra details, whereas the Masters one is even more sleek than this. This one goes above and beyond to add on detail and colouring and the crystal and the sound effects too. This is why the Dark Eye Sonic is really good, and I'm honestly so sad that we are yet to see it on screen. But with spin-offs and probably the 8th Doctor returning at some point, there is hope that maybe we could see this in some form. I really hope we do, because it's such a great design. Again, also, not one many people know about, but one definitely more people should know about, because it is a fantastic design. Almost like a classic version of the 11th Doctor screwdriver, and that is another reason why I love this one so much. Sonic glasses aren't actually going on this list because as a design, they just glasses. But we will talk about the extras at the end that I said earlier. Now 12 Sonic, it's great. But for me, one, I think we should have seen it more, and it should have been a Sonic throughout his entire run. But it's not my favourite. I still love it, but all the ones that have come before. I love the fact how it can go blue and green. I love the swirling actions. I love how it ties into the TARDIS more and looks more like that design. The sound is great, the bulkiness is great. I love the additions of the side clamps too. This is a genuine great screwdriver, and I like how the bottom it goes kind of thinner as it goes down. It feels like if Classic Who had the technology and the budget to make this, then this is what would have happened. Again, it fits Capaldi's Doctor perfectly too. The only reason it is not as high as others on this list is purely preference. Preference out of colour, design, sound effects too, which you'll see as we get on to the next one. The 10th Doctor screwdriver. The 9th and 10th Doctor screwdriver. Again, we could go through the different versions, but we're not going to do that. I love how sleek and timeless this one looks. Again, this could work for any Doctor. Put this in Classic Who, put this in any future Doctor yet to come, and we know this is going to work. It has the bonus features that it can extend, the sounds, the fact how he holds it in reverse as well. This is such a good grip, and it's such a great Sonic device. It's timeless, it's iconic, it's classic. The blue works. You can even switch out the blue if this was to go to another Doctor. There is so many little things about the Sonic that all come together to make this the perfect design. Again, this will have probably been my favourite, if not for the fact that now we are really getting into nitpicky things as to why I prefer Sonics over this one. But genuinely, a fantastic design, and obviously I have this one as a prop too. This one could be controversial because of what I just said about the one previously, but I prefer the 13th Doctor's screwdriver to 9 and 10s, but there's a reason for that, because I said about the nitpickiness and the personal things that I prefer. One, as you can tell from the Dark Eyes, I really like it when they go more original, like with the crystal. Obviously there's also the story implications of how she built it herself, but that crystal and the fact it turns and rotates as it's using is really cool. The orange colour as well not only does it fit Jodie and obviously her TARDIS, like how 12's did, but it's just nice to see this color. We have so many kind of spacey colors of, greens and blues and reds, whites. This is really unique, and it's a reason why I really like it. The design is great too, even if a little, but it's a great Sonic, and it's great for her Doctor. I couldn't really see this with any other Doctor, maybe 14, especially if it was blue. But aside from that, 13 Screwdriver is a really great design. The sound effects, the rotations, the crystal, the fact you have lights in the middle part as well is why I like this so much. Lights in a Sonic don't just have to be at the top, and is why this one laid the foundations, I think, for future Sonics to come. Anyway, on to the next one. We're getting close now. Again, not a Doctor's, but also technically because the Doctor made this one, and it used to be a Doctor Sonic. River Screwdriver. Not much to say about this, except obviously I prefer it to 10s. It has the added detail, it has the ring feature, and it can go, naturally as my channel colours, red and blue. Love this one so much. I could go into detail about the story usages, how it can do more on it, but this listing and ranking is purely really about designs and maybe sound effects. So I love this one so much because of the design. It's just a more evolved version of 10s. I don't think it would have suited 10, so I wouldn't have preferred it if it was with him, but as a Sonic design, I definitely prefer this one. What is it going to be? We have 14s and 11s for the next two winning prizes, and remember, some extra ones that I will get to. So, before we get on to our winning ones, let's talk about these honourable mentions, because they are seriously cool, and even I didn't know that one of them existed. These are Madame Vastra's Sonic hat pin, which was in the show and actually done by a design competition, but also Madame Vastra's actual Sonic screwdriver, which is in a comic strip. You can see this here, and she says it's a gift from the Doctor. It's a more kind of steampunk Victorian-esque version of the 11th, and it's red. So am I inclined to maybe say I prefer this to the 11th one? Maybe I am, but definitely I would say this is a great design. I'm not going to put it in the ranking because I haven't seen it properly, and obviously all the others on screens and have been built into props like Dark Eyes, but yeah, if I can get maybe a prop of this one to see or a 3D model, then I could definitely see myself including this very high up in a possible future ranking. The next honorable mention as well is Amy's made up Sonic. It's obviously a Sonic probe. I can't remember actually what it was called. Again, this doesn't really deserve to go on the list because it's two out of the others and not in that usual Sonic designy shape, but it's just a cool thing. It does look really cool. It fits the story really well. Sound design is great for this too. Anyway, here we are, the second spot. The 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, and again I've got this one out because it's the second spot, so we can have a little look at it. I love all the features and how it can turn up. Obviously it can change colours if you got that one. I unfortunately didn't, but it doesn't do that in the show, so we're not going to mention that. But I love again how you have the light features in the middle here and how these parts do glow up as well, or at least they look like they do. Again, just rotatable features. I prefer this to 10 so much. Now if you remember me saying I actually really didn't like this design because of how small it was in comparison to other screwdrivers, or at least how it looked, how much smaller it was. But now I really like this. It's in the second place for me. It's so good. The sound effects, that clicking sound on and off, all these different things. The light, the blue is great to have back too. Another timeless design, but not for all the Doctors, which almost adds to its flair and adds why I like it so much. Seriously, the little details as well as the Gallifreyan symbol, which I don't know if it will show up on camera, but seriously, this is so good and such a great design. And again, I thought it was too small, but it's not. Perfect hand size, perfect for flicking, perfect for scanning. This is quite possibly the best Sonic screwdriver, but maybe call it nostalgia. There is one that I prefer, and that one is the 11th Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver. For all of the reasons I have said I've liked the past screwdrivers, combine them into one, and that is why I love 11s. It's timeless. Again, not too timeless that it just works for him, which adds to its flair. It's got a nice green colour, striving away from that more kind of spacey average blue. The actual designs of the Sonic itself, linking in with the Doctor and the TARDIS, very flickable, very large, very big. The copper colours, the black colours, the leather on it, the detailing, all of it. It's so good. The sound design as well. Everything about this Sonic is perfect, and is why this is my all-time favourite Sonic screwdriver. But what do you think? What is your favourite Sonic screwdriver? Remember, there's a Discord below. We're actually going to be doing a giveaway at some point in the future of the 15th Doctor Sonic screwdriver toy when that comes out. So make sure to join the Discord down below. Also, plenty of watch-alongs, but just subscribe, and I hope to see you there.